Hey, hello everyone. This is Rose Price at Landmark Real Estate here in Champaign, Illinois. Boy, do I have a treat for you. This weekend I went to see Bill and Susan McLean. They live in Sydney and they have a historical museum of war artifacts. And I mean, they have a ton of them. Lots of them, and it is so well displayed. It's in Sydney on 221 South David Street. So I'm hoping that you will enjoy a preview of what I saw this past Saturday, and that you'll stay tuned to learn about the history of many of the wars that United States has been part of. So stay tuned. It is a long video, but you know, you can always take your time watching all the way through it, or actually go visit the museum yourself. Okay then, I will see you in a few minutes. Well, good morning. I have Bill and Susan here today, so why don't you give us an idea of who you are and where we're at.
My name is Bill McLean, my wife Susan, my wife of 50 years. By the way.
Awesome.
And we're members of the Sydney American Legion Post number 433, which is where we're at here right now. And we acquired this building last May. It is the old Village Community Hall. And they built a new Village Hall and offered to sell us this building for $1.
Wow.
And we had to do a lot of work, of course, to get that done. It had to be surveyed. We had to do a building inspection, so forth and so on. So it's been about a year since we started this project of basically designing our post and executing the decor. And also, my hobby for over 50 years has been collecting U.S. military memorabilia. So I decided this was a perfect place to start a little museum in our spare room, because we didn't really have much use for it otherwise. So
The post didn't have much use.
Yeah. So starting in our lobby, the first thing we did was we had a poster that was a paper poster that was all faded and whatnot, and I took it home and transcribed it, and it includes about 170 citizens from the town of Sidney, Illinois, that served during the American Revolution. I'm sorry, the Civil War, American Civil War. And so I redesigned the poster and added some Civil War artwork to it. Had it printed on canvas, had it framed, and this is what you see here now.
Very
This
good.
is kind of a commemorative thing for those young men that served during the Civil War. And there was probably some of those guys that were with my wife's great-great-grandfather, because there's some of these guys on here that were at the worst Civil War prisoner of war camp, Andersonville, and her great-great-grandfather survived that.
Very good.
Starting with this display case right here, I've got a collection of American Legion memorabilia. This first panel are school awards they started giving out in 1922. And then some other membership badges and reunion badges and convention badges. Okay. And they range in age, you know, from different times. This print is actually done by an internationally and nationally recognized renowned artist from Champaign by the name of Billy Morrow Jackson. And this was a mural, wall mural, that he was commissioned to do for the Soldiers and Sailors Home in Quincy, Illinois, which has now been renamed the Veterans Home, Illinois Veterans Home. And I put a little blurb about his life and the things that are involved here. But when he was finishing up this mural, he had this part right here not quite finished, and he needed a flight helmet so he could have some detail. And I lent him one out of my collection, and that's when he finished the wall mural. And he ended up giving me a slide and told me I could do what I wanted with it, so I had this print made.
Okay.
Also, Billy served with the Marine Corps during World War II, and he gave me his Marine Corps uniform.
So it looks like it's in perfect
It's
condition.
in very good condition.
There was so little.
Yeah, very little, very little. I have a hard time fitting early World War I and World War II uniforms on the male mannequins that we get today.
Yeah, even the flight suit in there
Yes.
looks
yes.
little. And that's Iraq.
It's on a female mannequin. That's the only way you can feel it.
But that wasn't that long
I
ago.
know. Some of the guys are here with this little sterling silver pin. And you can see they had a variety of different types of pins. But these all have to do with war production during the Second War. It's not stuff that you see very often. Or even know about. Most people don't even know about it.
No, wouldn't know.
So, and so that was one of the things I had on loan to the History Museum in Champaign. So then I've got a variety of things here. This is kind of not the right way to display this, but this is a naval female officer's hat. You notice it doesn't have the visor. I have to get that better mounted. This is a World War II flight helmet. Now this is something that is pretty rare to see, and it's massive. Susan, I need your help here.
Oh, okay.
Pull that out for me. This is a World War II Nazi battleship flag.
Oh my.
As you can see, it's huge.
Where'd you get that?
I got it from a collector. As you can see, it's got the name of the company, and they were from Berlin. And on the other end is the Kriegsmarine marking. Kriegsmarine being the German Navy. But that's not something you see every day, that's for sure.
No. We saw a Nazi flag, didn't we, going to North Carolina? Or was that a rebel flag?
Rebel.
Rebel. Okay.
They're all right there.
Hey, wait, what do I know? I know nothing.
Well,
Yeah, I have a flag that was flown over a fort in, I think, Texas or someplace, and it's got fewer stars, like 30,
Yes.
30 something, and
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
Well,
I mean,
30 some stars would have been Civil War period. 34 stars, 35 stars would be Civil War.
all right, I'll have to, I got your card.
Yeah, let me take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I mean, it's folded up, and I went to England when I was in my 20s, so I've had this flag for 50 years.
I'm going to show you another thing here that.
Bill, just a second here. Can you tell us the Army, Navy, isn't that an efficiency?
I already did that.
And I know, but
It's a production award.
production award, that's
Yeah.
the word.
And
I was
this is a
looking for.
typical plaque that goes along with the banner that was given to the company.
Nice. Very nice.
I'm going to set that down here. It's probably not going to be stable. That'd be good enough. Now what I'm going to show you here, you could spend your whole life collecting just this kind of thing. This is what is affectionately referred to as sweetheart jewelry. And it's different pieces of jewelry. This is my Army panel. So these are all Army pieces. If you look real closely, this is West Point. And so is this little pin right here, which is the U.S. Military Academy. And these things are very, very detailed. And it makes a really interesting hobby to collect just this kind of items. So these are all brooches and pins for, based on the Sun and Service flag. And I like the ones that have the little corps emblems that show what branch of service they were in. And of course, if the star was gold, as like in this one, that meant the individual was killed in action. And they actually still have the organization, what's called the Gold Star Mothers. And these are some of the necklaces.
Oh, here you go, Andrea.
You got lockets. Here's one that's got a torpedo on it.
I like that one.
Yeah. But and this is just a small smattering of the types of things you can find out there. I consider my collection a small collection compared to what's available out there. Here's bracelets.
Holy cow.
And I've got some that are even more elaborate than that you'll see here in a minute. This one is my Army Air Corps panel. So here's a necktie clasp, earrings, and a brooch, and that's all P-38 aircraft. Here's a nice locket, Army Air Corps locket.
Flying boxcar.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. And I've got,
You have a lot of money and sweat
well,
invested in this.
yeah, because what I do is, these are styrofoam panels, and I lay each piece out, outline it with a felt tip marker, take a soldering iron and melt a little pocket, cover it with the stretchy material, and then pin them down into it. This is probably one of my most favorite pieces of sweetheart jewelry. It's a sterling silver piece, and it depicts Uncle Sam sitting on a chair with Hitler laying over his lap, and he's got a hairbrush in his hand. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So it's a lot of fun collecting this kind of stuff. Okay, that's the sweetheart jewelry collection for the most part, except for I got two other small panels to show you. These are all bracelets. As you can see, they're very elaborate. Oop, you gotta be careful,
crap.
they'll slide out. That's all right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I only did that because of the
Yeah,
glare of
because
the
of the
light.
glare of the light on it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Now I'm
That's
gonna test your knowledge. Okay, we got USN. Everybody knows what that is. USMC. Everybody knows what that is, right? What's USMA? Any ideas?
U.S. Mall.
U.S. Military Academy. You know what that is? Better known as West Point.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
One of the really cool ones I got in here, which I'll have to take that out, straighten it out here so you can see it.
sorry about that.
That's all right.
Oh, that's Chinook.
Chinook Field. And of course, Chinook Field became Chinook Air Force Base. But as you can see, those are kind of, of course, here's some made out of foreign coins that somebody brought back. And these are the forget-me-not. But this is probably my
That's a famous
most,
picture.
this is my most personal one. That's my stepmother, and that's her boyfriend in 1943. And this is the bracelet he gave her. It's sterling silver and enamel. In Navy signal flag, he was a signalman. In Navy signal flags, it spells out "I love you."
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So that's really neat. Now this is not sweetheart jewelry. This is a Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is the breast star. This is a miniature of the. I don't have a full size one in my collection, but that's just a little small smattering of the types of
Huge.
sweetheart jewelry that you can find out there if you want to get into collecting something that's kind of interesting. Okay, now I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to lay these down here for right now. And I'm going to stick these back up here on the shelf.
Okay. The labor of love you have here.
I don't have the room to display all this stuff out, so I have to. This is about the best way I can do it, is just take them out and show them to people. And of course, I've got a couple other panels here. Another piece of a Nazi flag.
Can you? There.
Sure.
It's hard with the.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Yeah,
with the
there you
light.
go, right there. Okay, got it.
And then this panel is some of the Japanese rank insignia and a couple of their medals.
Yeah. Tip it more this way. There you go. Okay, very good.
This next shelf down is Vietnam era stuff right here. The well-known POW medal bracelets that they did during Vietnam era.
And the medals?
The medals, those are the common medals you hear about in the movies: the Silver Star, the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Soldier's Medal, Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. And these are all in the World War. These are all World War II. So they're in the old World War II style boxes. They call them the coffin boxes. These are the Coast Guard plaque here. This is actually a battle dressing from World War II. And I've taken it apart so you can see the contents of it. And this is a reproduction. I think this is a reproduction powder horn from the Revolutionary War era. And this is just a statue of a paratrooper.
Very good.
And down on the bottom here are bronze plaques from 3 of the 4 Iowa-class battleships: the Missouri, the Iowa, and the what's the other one there? The New Jersey. And then the helmets. That's actually my flight helmet when I flew aircrew on P3s out of Glenview. And that's my Chief Petty Officer hat, a Naval Officer's hat. And this is a Chief Petty Officer's hat from about 1907. And this is what they call the old flat hat. And they used to have the names of the ships on those.
I see.
And they quit doing that in World War II because it gave away too much intelligence. Because a foreign spy could walk around in a town and look and tell what ships were in port.
Makes sense.
So they switched it to saying U.S. Navy on it. These are Civil War shoulder boards, but that style of shoulder board was actually used all the way up into World War II for, special dress uniforms. Any idea what this might be? It's a shoe.
I was going to say, I thought it looked like a shoe, a horseshoe.
Off of a tail hook.
Oh.
Off of a tail hook. And if you look over here against the wall, there's an actual tail hook with the arm on it.
Oh, yeah.
And that came off an F-8 Crusader, which is the aircraft my squadron.
What's a tail hook?
It's used to trap the aircraft on the carrier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the steel cable hits this round part, and it stretches out and it brings the aircraft to a stop. So, next thing I want to show you, one of our members, Mick Schumacher, called me and told me he wanted me to come out to his house. He lives south of Sidney here. He flies ultralights. And so he asked me to come out to the house. He wanted to show me something. His wife inherited this trunk, about yay by yay, about that tall. I get out there, I open it up, it's all World War I. I mean, beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is a picture of the guy's company when they came back from overseas in 1919. It was done in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Wow.
And then this one's not military, this was a company picnic that apparently had. And these are called pantographs. And these are his units. And it's going to be hard to get a good photograph of that because of the light. I don't know if you can.
Guys.
But he's got to be in there somewhere. Unfortunately, it's not identified.
Yeah.
I have one of these that my wife's cousin's father-in-law, he lives over by Homer, over in Homer, and it's 7 feet long. And fortunately on it, about the middle of the picture is a little ballpoint pen bubble with an arrow pointing down it that says me. So he ID'd himself in that one, and that makes the picture a lot more interesting and intrinsically more valuable when you can identify it to an individual.
Air Force.
That's the baby Air Force. That's where the Air Force got its roots.
Well, you probably know Marty's friend who's deceased now, who was a frogman.
Who's that?
I have to ask him. He's from around here. He used to be Marty. You know, he just died recently.
Really?
But
Okay.
he- yeah,
Oh,
he's a
Bill,
frogman
Bill.
in Korea,
Okay.
and actually in Vietnam he went over too.
So
I think
this
in Korea.
this is a picture of that man wearing that uniform. It's got this insignia on it, so they changed the patch on it since this picture was taken. But this is his World War I Victory Medal, and this is his War Service Medal issued by Champaign County. And that's another field you can collect nothing, spend a whole career collecting nothing but War Service medals from counties and
Wow.
towns and villages and in different organizations. And of course, foreign coins, some little souvenir things from France. And he was in a balloon company, and these were the pictures of the balloons they dealt with. These are called Barrage Balloons. And you see a lot of World War II pictures with London. You'll see those hanging over London, and they had cables hanging down from them to keep the aircraft from flying through.
Wow.
And then this is an original, probably a shaving mirror. These other panels are things, again, you don't see very often. This is, these are badges. Presidential aid badge, Vice Presidential aid badge, Joint Chiefs of Staff badges, Department of Defense badge, Commander of the Pacific Fleet badge, Commander of the Atlantic Fleet badge.
Well, you have it all here, don't
And
you?
then this is General Staff badge, and this is rare. This is a Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and most people don't know that the tomb is 100 years old this year, or
Wow.
last year, 2020.
I would like to go see that
Yeah.
sometime.
Been to it numerous times. And this is probably one of our most ornate medals. It's called the Legion of Merit. Like I said, it's the most ornate. It was in 4 classes. The lowest class, which is the Legionnaire, is the only one that was issued to the U.S. military. And it was for holding a position of high importance, a command that was important, and you did a really good job. The other 3 classes were issued only to foreign dignitaries. That's called the Legion of Merit.
Very good.
Okay. And this is my Medal of Honor panel. There's no such thing as a miniature Medal of Honor. Oops, those are going to move. Forget, those things aren't pinned down. There was a company that made out a set of miniatures years ago, so I bought a set of those just as a display and conversation piece. And then these are autographs and some challenge coins from fellows that were recipients of the Medal of Honor. And I think it was this fellow here was he was a recipient from Iwo Jima, if I remember correctly. And this fellow was the Veterans, he held a position for the Veterans Administration for the state of Illinois at one time.
Awesome.
And then this other one is the Purple Heart Medal. The Purple Heart Medal was instituted in 1932, which is the bicentennial birth year of George Washington. And it's predicated on the original Purple Heart, which was a patch done during the Revolutionary War on a piece of purple cloth with silver embroidery on it. And I think there's only 3 known records of those being issued, and I think there might be only one of those in existence. So Douglas MacArthur came up with the idea of the Purple Heart, in 1932, but it was made retroactive to World War I. But there's also records of Civil War veterans being awarded those.
Great.
So I have this is an actual issued World War I, World War II, Korea, and then this is a unissued, just showing the front and the back. I like to with the medals, I like to show the front and the back and the miniature. I've got over 100 of these panels filled with our U.S. military medals.
Wow.
You need more space.
Yeah.
Very good,
Well,
Bill.
when I had my collection at the museum at Chinook, I had 43 display cases filled
boy.
with stuff.
You know, they had my hot air balloon, and I wondered what they ever did.
Beautiful painting of a lake cruiser on it for obviously service in the Far East. And what you're seeing here is a World War II Navy nurse's cape. And this looks like almost the same thing, but this is actually an officer's boat cloak. Because when they would come off the ship, usually they were peered out in the bay. They would get on a captain's gig, a small craft, and they would come in, and of course it's cold. They would wear these things to keep warm, and they're very heavy. It's melting
Yeah,
wool.
they look like
Yeah.
they're
It's
heavy.
very heavy.
This is just like my aunt. Remember, I told you I have my aunt's
Yep.
nursing cape.
Yep.
This is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
This is great, Bill.
It's a handheld air raid siren.
Awesome.
And I got a variety of course, these are all dummy hand grenades, different types of hand grenades. This is a single cell flashlight. When I was working up on the flight deck, we were supposed to be wearing these, but I never did. Most of the guys never did. This is my daughter's Navy hat. This is a World War II Japanese hat. Nicolas Cage made a movie called The Wind Talkers.
Yes.
And it was about the Navajo Indians, and that
Yes.
they had created a code using their native language.
We saw that.
And they were
Awesome.
never able to break their code. This is a Code Talkers radio. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that
they-
was pretty darn interesting.
I don't know if they actually used that particular one, but that was the model that they used. And then this is a ship's phone. Came off on the first carrier I served on, the USS Bonhomme Richard,
Now, how did you get it?
off eBay. They decommissioned her, and somebody scavenged stuff, and when it got decommissioned.
How fun is that?
So I
Are
thought,
you still buying stuff on eBay?
not so much anymore. I'm getting old enough now. I gotta curtail that kind of stuff.
And what it's like eating popcorn.
Yeah. And there's a field radio, and believe it or not, those things still work if you wire them up.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's all World War II. And then I've got helmets that range. This is a World War I German helmet. Let me get that out here. It's a little hard to see it with the spike and everything. It's called a Pickelhaube, but that's a World War I German spike helmet. When I was a little kid, we lived up in northern Wisconsin. Had a neighbor lady down the street. We called her Grandma Stitchin'. She's an old German lady. And she gave me one of those, and my brother a World War I Doughboys helmet, which is like that one. And so this is World War I, goes all the way up to World War II, and then this is post World War II, after World War II. And this is a variety of Army hats and some Air Force hats. This is the West Point hat.
Pretty.
And this is kind of rare to come across. This is like a testament, the Psalms and whatnot, with a steel jacket. And you're supposed to carry that close to your heart. And they actually have records of guys that got hit, and it saved their life.
Wow.
This is one of the most amazing training pieces for training.
What is it? Oh, SOS.
For teaching signalmen
Yeah.
Morse code. And it's got the Morse code on the back of it.
I
Wow.
love it.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Probably cost the government a fraction of a cent to make each of those. And then you can collect paperweights with the different insignia. This is Army Air Corps, of course. And I got G.I. Joe stuff, the Marine and Navy guys.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to take you in here.
I'm going to go sit down. My back is starting to hurt me.
This is all pre-World War II. So this represents my wife's father.
Wow.
And Dale survived the Bataan Death March He spent the whole war from the time when Corregidor fell until 31st of January 1945 as a POW. So he was born. He was repatriated a few weeks after I was born. I was born on the 5th of January. This is a complete World War II fleece line naval aviator, including a parachute.
Holy cow. Amazing.
And this thing is very, very heavy.
I bet.
I mean, it's very heavy.
Now, how'd you get that?
Pieced it together.
Pieced it?
I got the suit in various pieces. It's getting so old I have to be very fragile with it because it's getting a little dry rot in it.
Yep. See that?
I just pieced it together. I got a couple of racks of uniforms in here. These are all World War I. Again, this is that coat came out of that World War I trunk. As you can see, it looks
It's
almost
amazing.
brand new.
Yeah,
his shirt,
it does.
his pants. Here's a Naval Academy jacket. This is a West Point jacket.
Uh-huh.
And then these are some more World War II era. Goes on up to mostly World War II stuff.
That's fantastic.
And then over here is starting back here is some more flight suits, the flight jackets, Army. Some of it's World War II, and then it gets more to the modern time, Air Force. It goes on it. Then everything from here on out all came from one individual. He was a Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel, and all this is his stuff also.
Wow. That was a find.
It turns out J.D. Brown was a retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel. He retired, went back to school, got his degree in theology, and was an Episcopal church priest. And my oldest brother was the treasurer.
Wow.
And they were very good friends. My oldest brother passed away a year ago, Christmas Eve. And my sister-in-law he was cremated, had his memorial service, wanted to do it before their priest, he had retired before he moved to North Carolina, so they had it in May. So I went back there, and he had called my sister-in-law and told me, we're getting ready to move, I don't want to throw my uniforms away. Anybody might be interested in them? I literally came home with the back seat of the car stacked this full of uniforms.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
So,
well, very
but
good.
that's the kind of thing I do, and over the years, I would guess that maybe 25% of my collection are things that people give me.
That's awesome.
They don't know what to do with it,
Well, wrapping up, why don't you tell the folks, do you have a website or?
No, I don't.
Okay. You want to tell them how to get in contact with you?
I can be reached at 217-390-2196. My email address is USS, like the Navy ship, my last name, MCLANE, at prairieinet.net. That's PRAIRIE.net.
All right, Bill. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
My
Can't
pleasure.
wait to have it up online.
My pleasure.
You could just spend hour after hour after hour in here.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm just touching the surface on this stuff.
Yeah, I can tell.
These are certificates for maintaining our 100% membership. They don't give those out too much anymore because of the cost and whatnot.
Yeah.
And these are photographs of some of the events we do. We do a ceremonial flag burning for used flags, and this is the old community building they had down the street before they moved here. And these bronze plaques are now sitting right there on that wall.
Yeah, that was a labor of love from you.
Yeah. I found those plaques in storage, and I thought they're going to go out here.
And Jackie?
Jackie McElwee, only Unity grad killed in Vietnam.
Wow.
And he's got relatives that were members here. I had a hard time finding information on this fellow. He was from Sydney also. He was a Marine, and I finally found information of when he died,
Charles Reese.
and I found the ship he was on. It turned out they were bombarding an island, and a turret exploded. And he was one of the 13 guys that were killed. This fellow didn't graduate from Unity because he graduated from Sidney High School, and went in the Air Force, got out, came back, got educated, got a commission in the Army, and was a flyer, got shot down and lost in Vietnam.
Wow. Now, all of these photos you did yourself,
Yeah.
and they are all Sidney.
So you see Jackie's got the deceased flag and the killed in action flag on him. And we also are one of the probably very few Legion posts that have a living prisoner of war.
Really?
Yep. Paul Lewis was from Homer. He now lives in Sydney. And he was one of the 51 Marines captured at the Iranian embassy during the Carter administration. Spent 444 days as a POW.
Wow.
Could not be a member of the Legion because he didn't serve during a war period. Well, about 2 years ago, the national commander submitted a proposal to Congress, because we're chartered by Congress, that basically stating we've been in constant conflict since December 7th, 41. We've lost almost 2,000 people outside of war periods. We want to change the membership requirement, so if you did 1 day of honorable federal service since December 7th till some future date, you can be a member. That passed, so Paul became a member of our
Very good,
post.
very good.
And then this is my wife and our oldest daughter are members of our post.
Awesome. Which, show me the daughter.
Right here. She was a corpsman. She got activated during Desert Storm and served at a hospital in Charleston.
Wow. That's awesome.
And then I got to show you this one fellow down here. Each one of these is for a different war. So World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. This is one of our newer members. I recruited him last year. On February the 22nd this year, he will be 100 years old.
Oh, come on, really?
Yep. George Hawthorne.
100 years old.
Yep. I finally got him down here during the Sydney Fun Days. His son brought him down here. We had just gotten him a wheelchair, and he brought him down here, so he got to see the post.
And tell me about all the planes.
Well, they mostly World War II planes, but there's modern ones also, and some of the helicopters, what they call rotary ring aircraft. You'll notice on this set right here is a British P-40 chasing a German Messerschmitt.
With a shark face, yeah.
And up front there in the center, you'll see an American P-40 chasing a Japanese Zero.
I see.
The two right there in the center.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then these are modern Navy jets here.
Wow, there you have it. Bill is incredible. And, you know, while I was looking at all the artifacts in his museum, I really felt like in some ways I was at that war. He's a great storyteller. You really need to get to know him. And if you're a veteran, please look up Bill and Susan. She also is a veteran. And it's amazing. They have 40 members of their family that have been part of the services for the United States. Hope you enjoy the video. Come back and see me. There's more to come. So stay tuned to my next video and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, have a powerful day.